This is from the book of Mr. Thaddeus Lawrence, whom I admire the most. The book's name is Runaway Success, and the complete name is Life Lessons from Ultra Endurance Racing. So since long, I have been admiring Mr. Thaddeus Lawrence, and today I'll be reading his book. This book I got because I attended I have attended 3 of his programs, and today I discovered this book. So I'll be reading Purpose of Pursuit, Strength of Character, Depth of Resilience, and Imperviousness to Pain. These will all serve you well. But those lining up to start each ultra endurance race will need something extra if we really want to succeed. Willpower. We must have the compelling desire. We have to want it. The 4 deserts events organized by racing the planet combine a rugged physical and mental challenge with a rich cultural experience. The series, named by Time magazine as one of the world's top 10 endurance competitions, takes place in the Sahara in Egypt, Gobi in China, Atacama in Chile, and the polar desert of Antarctica. The task is straightforward, and it sounds like an absolute nightmare. Pay a few $1,000s to get dropped in the middle of a desert where, for over 6 consecutive days, participants have to run, walk, or crawl 250 kilometers. Then repeat it in a different desert. Make no doubt about it, each race is extreme. In the hot deserts, the temperature is cranked up to a vindicated 51 degrees Celsius. In Antarctica, it will plummet to a bone-rattling minus 15 degrees Celsius. There are no in-betweens. Either it is very hot or very cold. Either way, it can be life-devouring, too hot, and we risk heat stroke and sunstroke. Too cold and hypothermia and frostbite come knocking on our door. The race takes place across soft sand and deep snow, over hard-packed gravel and slippery sheets of ice, up powdery sand dunes and down rocky hills. Why I'm reading this? I'm reading this because I know some challenges are there, which is extreme, and I am not able to see a way through, a breakthrough. So what action should I take? What is the ultimate endurance that I need to undertake so that I can break through the glass ceiling? It is only a glass ceiling, as you see. So what is this glass ceiling is doing to my result? That is why I am reading, and today is 22nd of March 2023, and I am hoping to break through this glass ceiling by 2025 in 10,000 times bigger. I'll be a millionaire, I'll be a billionaire, and I'll be creating a $1 billion enterprise in each of the country, 139 countries that I am dreaming to work across, and each country will have a $1 billion enterprise. That is a tough endurance, and right now I don't have any clue as to how to achieve that. But this is the dream I declare to the universe, and I let go that the universe will take care. The distance for each of the first 4 stages goes up to 45 kilometers. On the fifth day, possibly to break the monotony or probably to throw in an added challenge or most likely to exercise their sadistic tendencies, the organizers throw in a long stage. This stage can vary anywhere between 80 and 100 kilometers and is where the word ultra endurance comes into play. Here is where we come of age as a desert racer. As we stand on the start line of this stage, we would have already run the cumulative length of 4 standard marathons in as many days. Our muscles are screaming in pain, our joints are on fire, and we are suffering a combination of skin chaffing blisters, dehydration, diarrhea, weight loss, and heat exhaustion. It is up to the participants how we tackle the course as long as we propel ourselves forward on foot only. The weather, distance, terrain, and our own strength and weaknesses affect the tactical decisions, which in turn can have huge ramifications. We are also self-supported. This means we carry all our food, clothing, sleeping gear, personal items, survival kit, medical supplies, and other mandatory equipments for the entire week. Everything we need to survive is carried in a pack on our back. The only luxuries provided are a space in a tent to sleep in, a campfire at night, and drinking water at roughly 10 kilometers interval checkpoints. The entire pack weighs anywhere between 6 and 17 kilograms, depending on our packing ability and creature comfort needs. Needless to say, there are no showers. So why? Why risk life and live in searing heat, debilitating dehydration, and acute physical discomfort? Why run the gauntlet of sheer pain and torture? There is no race prize, no pot of gold to be won, no flashing balls from fawning photographers, nothing tangible beyond a medal that all finishers receive. Winners earn neither fame nor fortune in an activity that would send the adrenaline seeking sports fan into slumber. What sort of person is drawn to a race costing a small fortune in fees and demanding hundreds of hours in training? Are we a distinctive breed of individuals or are we simply self glorified narcissists? The appeal of some of the world's most isolated and stunning environments is exactly that. Their breathtaking beauty draws plucky travelers hungry for a rare glimpse of little known panoramas that and off the beaten track holiday privileges. At the same time, budding explorers are sold on visiting out of the way areas, not in the travel brochure. The innumerable travel difficulties making the trip a worthwhile reward in itself. This is the antithesis to the norm in travel, a journey filled with perfect moments, unchoreographed and real. It promises to avoid the superficial by keeping the experience natural, unique, and honest. The whole experience is a cycle of emotions, mystification, anticipation, celebration, and nostalgia are placed in between fear, pain, capitulation, and despair. It is like teetering atop the world's highest roller coaster. The sense of complete surrender is intoxicating, delirious, and alive. But traveling through these places, while extremely gratifying, is also a highly hazardous affair. Throw in an arduous ordeal like a multi-day ultra marathon, and we have the right mix of disaster. A powerful appeal is the pride and personal fulfillment associated with the achievement of a difficult athletic objective while exposing oneself to potential injury, death, or ridicule. When our bodies and minds are stretched to their limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something hard and worthwhile, and we succeed, the reward is immense. Here is a sport that goes beyond mere thrill seeking. This is an activity where you are pushed to your absolute maximum. To challenge yourself over a grueling course of time, to be fully independent and wholly accountable for yourself, to relish the uncertainty of each moment, to have the autonomy of making your own decisions that make the difference between success and collapse, the draw is irresistible. The game is big and is radical. It is extreme because the consequences for failure are high. This is what life is about. It took a firm hold of me and reeled me into its bosom. Once every so often, we are bowled over by stories of those who overcome the odds. A sportsman or woman shatters a previously unbreakable record. An individual defies the traditional success template to turn rags to riches. Another flouts conventional thinking to transform a hopeless situation into a challenge to look forward to. Through news articles, television, documentaries, and personal anecdotes, I hear of these champions in life and am in full awe and admiration. This fascination with the strength of the human spirit of overcoming and triumphing over the odds led to my ultra racing as a platform for some self-discovery. Question after question swamped my head. Did I have it in me to accept such an undertaking? Did I have the grit to exert myself this way? How would I cope under such punishing conditions? How would I respond to the myriad of trials and tribulations? Will my resilience and strength of character carry me to the end? Where did my limitations lie? What was my potential? Could I do it? Extreme racing emerged out of this curiosity. Imagine the scene at a 100-meter sprint event. Runners take their crouched positions in the starting blocks. The finishing tape flutters gently ahead. The lanes mark the straight track. A starter gives the commands of on your mark, set, and then fires a gun. The runners burst forth a blur of power and strength, arms swinging vigorously and legs stretching into running stripes. In a matter of seconds, it is all over. Bodies charge across the finish line and quickly decelerate to a stop. That is not life. Life is not a sprint. Rather, life is a multi-day ultra-endurance race where the goals and dreams span weeks, months, and even years from conception to realization. Often, we are unable to see the finish line or even know what it might look like. Getting there is hardly ever straightforward or unobstructed. The journey of life is one full of twists and turns that throw up all manner of obstacles, challenges, and setbacks. Possession of physical prowess and hard skills is insufficient for success. We need to pack an indomitable fortitude or emotional resilience and mental fitness. A desert race then seems to me the perfect microcosm life. Regardless of what happens each day, participants need to get up the next and perform the same exacting task all over again. Each day, We need to get stronger and better. The race continues regardless of our mood or how we feel. The route is uncharted and we have no idea of what lies around the corner. The starting state is clarity of purpose. Absolute Cherry Garrett, one of the youngest members of British explorer Captain Scott's last expedition to the Antarctica in 1910, said, "There are many reasons which send men to the poles, but the desire for knowledge for its own sake is the one which really counts. Exploration is the physical expression of the intellectual passion. If you have the desire for knowledge and the power to give it physical expression, go out and explore." Like Cherry Garrard, I embarked on my adventure in the name of exploration. Unlike Cherry Garrard, my exploration was not so much in scientific or adventurous pursuits, but in the search of understanding oneself, a bid to discover where my inner limits lie. There would be no better place to do so than a full immersion in some of the most formidable and inhospitable yet spectacular and stunning landscape. The Four Deserts Race series offers an ideal channel for some serious self-exploration in a holiday with a difference. If I have a good time and fun, it would be once, but I have come to surrender to my attraction of the unknown and to see how I would cope in pushing my physical boundaries and exploring the edges of my mental envelope. I sought, in the words of former marathon runner Frank Mayer, an epiphany, a spiritual flash, and that would change the way I viewed myself. This race will be the any plus ultra of self discovery. However, the process is not necessarily one dimensional. Almost half of all competitors chose to champion causes when racing. I used the opportunity to raise funds for different children charities. But as much as I helped them, they helped me, especially during the low points when it is easiest to give up. I ask myself what I would tell them upon my return. That is usually enough to encourage me to carry on. Thinking about my beneficiaries lends a broader take on life. The thought of their own daily ultra endurance races takes the pain and suffering from myself. They give me the energy to continue moving forward because I am not only doing it for myself but for them. My accountability to them makes the whole adventure much more meaningful. Racing on foot in a harsh and hostile environment is an activity that is the subject of intense competition. Unlike conventional sports, however, this competition takes on a different dimension. Such events attract highly driven people and high achievers in business, sport, and life. Proudly bearing their national flags on their sleeves, this is a cultural gathering of sorts. A mini United Nations, where competitors, volunteers, and staff hail from some 30 countries. There is an air of mutual respect at all, as all differences melt behind the high-tech clothing, and a shared mission unifies everyone. Instead of a dog-eat-dog, win-lose world, I found a community. And I found that my own success lay in the gift of the support and fellowship of these people. This network of people extend to those not physically on site. Coming into camp each evening is sheer joy, not just because it signifies the completion of a stage and I get to put my bone tired feet up, but it offers the chance to be in contact with the outside world. A media tent is specially set up for competitors to read messages sent each day by loved ones at home, and it is there I would sit every night, bent over the tiny laptop, poring over the messages, and lapping off every single word. These communications of encouragement, inspiration, and amazement from well wishers, supporters, friends, and family never fail to lift my spirits. It is immensely heartening to know that there are people halfway around the world who had me in their thoughts while I was traipsing through the desert. While the food and drink for my body, these messages nourished my heart and mind. In running, hitting the wall, a metaphor for glycogen depletion in muscles. Runners basically run out of energy. Body and mind collapse, and we find ourselves struggling for strength and motivation. Many are forced to quit the race entirely. Lasting the distance requires that we pace ourselves. At its essence, an ultra is a series of questions. Do I eat now or wait? Shall I take a short rest or a longer break? Should I speed up or ease up? Overstraining on one day can lead to subpar, if not disastrous results the next. Taking it too slowly and missing the cutoff time leads to disqualification. Simply going with the flow and seeing what happens would be too careless an approach. Extreme distance magnify every little decision, and one wrong one can politely, potentially ruin the whole race. There is a common saying that the race is not won on the first day, but can be lost on the first day. Those of us who heed these words of wisdom would do well by curtailing our innate tendency to burst forth from the blocks. We keep the bigger picture of the race in our conscious brain and break the days up into short-term objectives of stages and checkpoints. Reaching these small milestones keeps us our spirits up and fills them with the energy needed for the long haul. Through proper pacing, we preserve the maxim that the winner in an ultra is not the one who runs the fastest, but who can slow down the least. The decisions made reflect the competitor's readiness. Any event of such a magnitude starts with a compelling desire and then with the action of preparation. We need to know what we are getting into. These are sacrifices to be made, concessions on family time, and trade-offs with sleep. Moments with our nearest endurance will drop. Leisure time will come to an end. Tracksuits will be dusted of fortunes will be spent on heat. Risk management is all about understanding ourselves, how much we are willing to give and put on the line. This calls for greater attention to detail. On a physical level, we need to know our bodies, track the changing signs to understand what it is saying and what it means. This then determines the training strategy. In a short sprint, pure power and solid strength are vital. A marathon calls for superior fitness and physical strength. Ultra endurance racing requires something else from the racers. We need mind control and mental steadiness to withstand the twin demons of fatigue and failure. Much of the long distance peopleship consists of training to improve endurance and resilience, but we can never be fully ready if our mind tells us otherwise. Sometimes we just need to foster a strong sense of perspective. In honoring Roger Bannister's 4-minute mile achievements, it is perhaps more noteworthy that just weeks later, his record was broken. Since then, the sub-4-minute mile was repeated all around the world. What was once just to be an impossible barrier was truly insomuch as it existed in the mind. As Roger Bannister put it in an interview, there was a mistake, a belief that it couldn't be done. but I think it was more of a physiological barrier than a physical barrier, psychological barrier than a physical barrier. When he breached the barrier, he did it for everyone else, allowing others to emulate his fate. Many people have been conditioned with thoughts of what cannot be done. This conditioning results in an approach to life that can best be described as pessimistic. The focus becomes on what cannot be done instead of a positive expectancy of exploring how it can be done. What was my recipe for completing 250 kilometers in the desert? The standard fitness test in Singapore comprises a 2.4 kilometers run, which typically takes an average of 10 minutes. Or there is to a desert run, then is to do 10 fitness runs. Then do the entire lot 10 times plus another 10 kilometers. The good news is I have an entire week to round off everything. Emil Jatubek, a Czech long distance runner best known for winning 3 gold medals in the marathon, 10,000 and 5,000-meter races at the 1952 Summer Olympics in Helsinki said, if you want to win something, run 100 meters. If you want to experience something, run a marathon. I would add that you want to experience life, run a multi-day ultra endurance race. How we tackle the race is how we lead our lives. To take full advantage of this opportunity for inner realization is to participate fully. The task is uncomplicated. In fact, it is a simplification at its best. Set in an isolated landscape, an event planned place home to men and women, taking a silent break from urban life. We have everything we need. There are no phones, no emails, no work, no children to distract us. Our energy is usually occupied with what happened in the past or might happen in the future. Are freed. We are free. The more we commit our energies to the undertaking, the more we will benefit, and the deeper the harmony we will have with each moment. All that matters is the now. As much as routine is a challenge, it is a big part of ultra racing. In fact, the practice of race rituals is constantly being fine-tuned. Pre-race preparation is well rehearsed as eating, dressing, and warming up take on a familiar quality. Race approach is a tried and tested activity of outstanding habits to hydrate, relax, and self-affirm. Post-race rest and recovery is a standard operating system. These race rituals serve a practical purpose and focus one's attention. They are the perfect blend of concentration and calmness, power and peace. It is a game of millimeters, just like holding a butterfly in your hand, clasp too loosely and it will fly away. Grasp too tightly and it will crush and kill it. Such is the extremity of what we are attempting, that an ordinary mistake of little consequence in everyday life takes an disproportionate significance. Every step, however small, is therefore a building block that serves as a foundation for something else. This conscious pursuit of growth and discovery is a gift. This is the essence of discipline, not pain or pressure, but learning and illuminating. There is a joke among ultra racers that it will fall face down. We are still moving forward. This leads to a victory that is priceless and priceless. When all said and done, the true reward of journeys traversed, coming through struggle against circumstance, fights against self-doubt, wrestling with dark thoughts, silencing the crying voices within, persevering through harsh conditions and a shared intimate experience. it is a pilgrimage. At the start of this phase, we come from around the world, drawn by our personal motivations, but all are attracted by what this race represents for us, by the promise that here we will find our own meaning. A week later, we scatter back around the globe to our lives, where we all continue to use the lessons we have learned with a new philosophy, clutching our cherished memories to become a better person. We will shape the future of the enchanting and complex things we call our life. My own adventure and education starts here. The four deserts proved an excellent training ground. Surely, if we could put ourselves through such a test, nothing in life can stop us. Everything could be possible. At the very least, the event provided a fitting platform to demonstrate that anything is possible in our lives once we put our minds to it. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Live a life of excellence, and in so doing, make a difference to ourselves and to the lives of others. And at the end of it all, we all have experienced something unique and special. It is an experience that I would not have missed for the world. To quote Captain Scott, I should have had a tale to tell of the hardihood, endurance and courage of my companions, which would have stirred the heart of every man. Ultra racing was life-changing for me. I hope it can be for you too. That was the prologue and the gist of whatever we are trying to do. Let me close this and I tell you, in whatever way you have experienced or experiencing or looking towards to achieve, it all requires extra endurance. And right now, what endurance you are enduring, it actually tells a lot about what kind of person you are. Where you are stuck, what will make you go through? Are you the person who has explored it all? Don't you think that once we go through such impossible thing without any meaning, but with an expectation to achieve something, to win over something else within ourselves, we'll make a great story, make a big thing about our endurance. Right now, nobody appreciating you, nobody knows you always, nobody can understand or sympathize the way you are. Does it matter? It needs to be appreciated and approved and established just for once, right? Once it is done, you are a person who is very different. And everybody will appreciate even though they don't understand all the hardship that you have undergone. And but who you become, it doesn't matter what others will think. You will become the person you always dreamt of, right? Isn't it so? So this is, with this, we are starting to read this, and I think it will be a great read to help others gain better. Thank you, and that was the end of prologue. The chapter 1 will start tomorrow. So see you there. Thank you.